Awesome.
Awesome!
Me, as part of my world building, it's really important.
We picked up Grandma Deb to go with us, you guys, and it was a good thing we did.
And it took me hours and hours of editing.
Hi-yo!
Sunday afternoon, it's like 12:30, quarter to 1, and we are off to go see Peter Rabbit in Dubuque, and Mom's gonna do some writing. First we're gonna go to Grandma's, Dad's gonna go with Grandpa to the casino for a few minutes, then we're gonna go see Peter Rabbit. What do you think, Ree?
Awesome.
Awesome!
All right, good afternoon, guys. So Matt, as I'm sure you've already seen, has taken the kids to a movie. So they were pretty excited about that, to go see Peter Rabbit. And as long as I get these edits done, T and Braxen and I are gonna celebrate that fact with going to a movie tomorrow night. So I'm pretty excited. It's one we've been wanting to see. I think it's Winchester is what we're going to see. But right now I have 49 pages of edits to knock out. I've got the computer fired up. I'm doing a 45-minute sprint with one of my fellow night writers. So I'm gonna get back to this and I'll check in with you guys and let you know how I've done in a little bit.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Just finished my first 45-minute sprint. I got about 2 pages down, and if you noticed, I was writing on an index card like this. So what these are is I'll put like these are my character cards. Sometimes I also have, like when I'm outlining, I'll use these, but I'll explain that a different day. Anyway, what I do is as I'm writing, I'll write down like any quirks a character might have, how old they are, what they look like, things that are just specific towards them. So if I decide to build on that character, or maybe in the future write a novel including that character that might be a spin-off, I have those cards to refer back to so that I can keep the character built as like an individual, so that they have those same quirks and build a story off of that. So that's what I was doing, because I realized when I was going through and editing this book, I had never built one for a character that I have named Mrs. Nethery or Phyllis Nethery. And she actually ends up being a pretty vital character throughout the stories, but I had never written up a character card for her. So I actually took the time while I was editing to go ahead and do that. And for me, as part of my world building, it's really important, actually in general for writing, when you're building a story or building a world, you want to make sure that you have those character traits, their hair color, eye color, height, weight, you know, what their build is. Do they have a mole that's like, that you point out in the books? Because you wouldn't want to put like a mole on their left cheek and then later on in a future novel maybe point out the mole and it's on their right cheek, because your readers actually will catch that. So that's a really important writing tip, I guess, for me, is make sure if you are writing a story that you put together character cards, especially if you're doing a series type book. And you never know, you may eventually in the future decide, even if it's just a single book, to do a sequel to it or to do a spin-off, and maybe one of your characters becomes a major player in that. So you want to have that kind of stuff set to the side so you don't have to go back and research later on, which I've actually had to do when writing my books. And I always do a reread through my books before I start writing the next one. And the reason for that is so I remember kind of the direction that I have the storylines going. So I'm going to hop back into my next 45-minute, well, a little less than 45-minute sprint. And then I'll see you then.
So you can see the sun's going down. We picked up Grandma Deb to go with us, you guys, and it was a good thing we did, because we're out in the car, me and Aspen. Aspen's enjoying a slushie. Peter Rabbit seemed like a great movie. Aspen just couldn't make it through, could you, bud? He wanted to play some games and he wanted to do this, and he spilled his slushie and it got in his shoe, but he's doing all right. And we're just out here. We got the car warming up, and they should be out maybe 20 minutes. So that's what we're doing, and hopefully Mom's getting some writing.
I am back in the writing room. I took a break for a little while. Got the vlog edited and just stepped away from the computer because I got stuck at, again, some POV shifts. So, and this one's a lot tougher. This is very pivotal for the story. I was kind of talking about that yesterday. But this one, I really had to figure out how to intertwine the two things that need to happen. You need both perspectives, and this situation from the male and female characters once again, but this part is, I can't even explain it while I'm trying to do it. It's just, it's so pertinent to the storyline that I can't mess this up. So I took a step away, decided to edit the vlog, walk away from the book edits, and it's been probably a good hour and a half or so. So now I'm going to get back into this. I know Matt's had the kids at Peter Rabbit, so, and my mom went with, thankfully, because our littlest one is still kind of little to go to a movie. He likes to be able to get up and do his own thing. He's very, very active. So it was probably a little too soon to take him to a movie theater. That, or maybe mom should have thought ahead of time and said take them to Playland first before they go to the movie to get some energy out. So as far as I know, Matt's currently with Aspen in the arcade at the movie theater trying to get him settled and just let him kind of do his own thing. So unfortunately that happens sometimes in parenting. Sometimes moms and dads miss out on the movies and stuff just because it's for the best for the rest of the kids. So the other kids, I do believe, are sitting with my mom though, and very much so enjoying the movie, and Aspen is playing in the arcade. So that's how it goes. I'm gonna get back to these edits, and I have to tell you, I really appreciate Matt this weekend. I always appreciate him, but I really appreciate him this weekend because he knows how much I need to get this done, and he's taken the kids and just kind of given me a quiet house and time to get these things done. So big thumbs up to Matt and him being an awesome daddy and an awesome husband. Right, so it is the end of my writing day. It's about 11:30, you guys, and I have been in here since early this afternoon, and I've gotten 7 pages completely edited. However, that being said, it doesn't sound like a lot, but there was a lot of reworking, and I've kind of been telling you guys that over the last couple of days, how the writing process kind of works, and that sometimes it can just take a while. The editing process can take a while, especially when you have POV switches. So when I left off yesterday, I knew that there was probably 4 pages that there just was something that wasn't right in it. There were 2 POV switches, but I couldn't figure out how to fix it, and I thought that maybe later on I would be able to fix it somehow. So I wrote myself a note in my second brain, which I've shown you guys that notebook before. I wrote myself a note in there just kind of reminding myself where that was, and I left it alone and continued on with the edits. Tonight, when I hit another point in the edit, so I got about another 7 pages, I'm down to 42 pages, you guys, that I need to get edited before the first. So I got another 7 pages knocked out, and when I was getting to the end of those 7 pages, I realized that there's room to take a part that was written down on the next page I'm about to edit, the next couple of pages I'm about to edit, and actually combine that back into earlier in the story, and it still will not kill the timeline and it won't kill the story, and then be able to revamp that and put it all into one main character's point of view. Because my goal is to stick to 3 POVs in this one. My main woman, my main man, and then of course our villain. So because you kind of have to know what's going on in his head in order for the storyline to make sense. You have to be there sometimes because it'll shift to him and to a scene that he's in and kind of set up the story. So you have to be able to know what's going on. It can't be told from those other 2 characters' points of view. So sometimes it's best to just leave it alone and make a note for yourself as a writer and just let it go and kind of work through the rest of the book, and then go back to it if you need to. And so that's what I did, and it took me hours and hours of editing to finally realize that there was a fix to this, and I can keep it down to those 3 POVs and not end up with 5 in this book. So